and I'm going to open it up.
Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining today's presentation from the Health Connector, where we will present an overview of the Health Connector and resources available for those in need of health insurance coverage. You have joined the presentation, Need Health Insurance? Know Your Options. We have a number of participants who have signed up, but we will get started at 2 p.m. as scheduled. I'm Erin Ryan from the Massachusetts Health Connector. I will be facilitating today's session. I'm joined by my colleague, Nikki Conti, who will be presenting today's information, and we are here to help answer any questions you might have. I would like to take a moment to thank elected officials across the state for their support in promoting this webinar, including our partners in the state legislature and our congressional delegation. Before we get started, just some information about our presentation format. Everyone's audio has been muted and video has been disabled. The presentation portion will last approximately 30 minutes, then we'll have time for a question and answer period. If you would like to ask a question at any time, please use the question and answer functionality. We will be monitoring your questions throughout. Please do not disclose any personal information or protected health information when you ask your questions, as others on the call may be able to see what you've written. If you have a specific personal scenario that you want to discuss with someone, we'll be providing contact information for the Health Connector's Customer Service Center and instructions on how to find help from a local navigator. We are recording today's call, and following today's meeting, you'll receive an email with the presentation along with a brief survey about the information we've shared. So there's no need to take detailed notes. Please complete the survey if possible, as we'd greatly appreciate your feedback on today's session, and your input will help us develop future presentations. And so without any further ado, Nikki, I will hand it over to you.
Thanks so much, Erin, and thank you everyone for joining us today. We're seeing more participants join, so welcome everyone. I'm Nikki Conti, and we're going to step through this presentation just to talk about health insurance and your options available through the Health Connector. So today I'm going to provide an overview of the Massachusetts Health Connector. I'll spend some time specifically talking about getting coverage through the Health Connector, how you can get help with this process. I'll review some key takeaways and also spend time going through resources that can help you as you're stepping through this process. So first, let's start with, an overview of the Health Connector. What is the Health Connector for those of you who aren't familiar? So we're the state's health insurance marketplace, and we offer individuals, families, and small employers access to affordable health insurance coverage. So you might be wondering, okay, who are the folks that get coverage through you? And it's essentially people who don't get health insurance through their job or other sources. Those are the folks who can apply for coverage. You'll also, as I go through today's presentations, I will definitely be focusing on health insurance, but I want to also acknowledge that you can also buy dental insurance through the Massachusetts Health Connector. So on slide 5, let's just spend a little bit of time orienting you to all the Health Connector plans that are available through mahealthconnector.org. So first, I want to acknowledge that all the plans sold through us meet state and federal standards of coverage. So you can rest assured, not be concerned about the quality of the coverage that you're purchasing, nor think that or have to worry that you're going to face any penalties at tax time for not having coverage that meets state standards. So I'm going to deviate a little bit here and do some health insurance speak. All of the plans on our site are known as qualified health or qualified dental plans. And basically what that means for you is that you can choose from a variety of plans in your area from leading insurance companies in Massachusetts. And again, that the qualified health plans, qualified dental plans meet state and federal standards. Now, specific to getting plans through the Health Connector, we offer health plans with advanced premium tax credits. So people with incomes within a certain range can qualify for tax credits to reduce their cost of monthly premiums. So in order to receive access to those advanced premium tax credits, you do need to shop through the Massachusetts Health Connector to get that coverage. Now, unique to Massachusetts is something known as the Connector Care Program or Connector Care Plans. So people who are in lower income ranges who meet other eligibility requirements may qualify for these no or low cost health insurance coverage plans. And then also want to note we have catastrophic plans, and those are available to people under 30 or with the hardship exemptions. And as I had mentioned before, we do in fact offer dental coverage for individuals, children's families, small employers, and that includes pediatric only plans as well with lower and higher deductibles. So you may be wondering who can apply. So you should apply if you live in Massachusetts, you're a U.S. citizen, U.S. national, or otherwise lawfully present in the U.S., and you don't have health insurance coverage. Now, you should not apply if you are already enrolled in Medicare, the state's Mass Health program, or excuse me, the state's Medicaid program in Massachusetts known as Mass Health, or other public health coverage, or if you're offered affordable health insurance from your employer, or if someone is in jail. Essentially, when you are coming through the Health Connector, we have plans that are available for folks who otherwise don't have access. So if you are getting coverage through these other sources, you'll see that you do not qualify for coverage. So the next question might be, okay, you may be thinking, okay, well, when can I enroll in coverage? If folks are coming from health insurance from your employer, you might be familiar with this open enrollment term. And essentially, open enrollment is a time of year when you can apply for new coverage for the coming year, or you can shop for coverage. And so here, I just want to acknowledge that typically the Health Connector's open enrollment is from November 1st through January 23rd. This year, open enrollment has been extended. So we are still in an open enrollment period. Right now, our open enrollment has been extended through May 23rd. So on this slide here, I just want to say that however you made your way to today's webinar, you don't need to worry about, meeting an open enrollment event. You don't need to worry about these dates, but rather just apply. Apply right away and basically find out what you qualify for and how quickly you can get enrolled into your health insurance coverage. For Health Connector plans. So if somebody applies right now and they find out that they're eligible for Health Connector plans, it's important to note that all our health and dental coverage starts on the first day of the month. So right now, if somebody applies, they would be, and you get found eligible for Health Connector coverage, it would begin or could begin as early as April 1st. So let's just talk a little bit about special enrollment periods and qualifying events, just so you know about this. So basically, a special enrollment period is a time outside of open enrollment when someone could qualify to enroll in health coverage through the Health Connector. So basically what that means is if we're in a closed enrollment period and you were looking for coverage, there are times and there are specific reasons why you would still be able to get in. You don't have to wait for an open enrollment. So special enrollment periods last for 60 days after certain qualifying events. So for example, if someone gets married, there's a change in household size. Let's say someone has a child or adopts a child, if someone newly qualifies for connector care, or if someone loses health insurance coverage through their job, or someone's COBRA is ending. These are all examples of a time where an open enrollment, a special enrollment period will open up for people so they would be able to get in. So for those of you who are on today's webinar, who maybe are joining because you've lost access to your employer sponsored insurance, or you're thinking about whether or not to choose COBRA coverage versus Health Connector coverage, or COBRA is coming to an end. These are things you want to consider, and we can certainly talk more about them during the Q&A. Now, let's go right into applying for coverage. So here's what you need to know. There are 3 ways to apply. You can apply online at mahealthconnector.org. We also have a Spanish version of our website and our application. It's mahealthconnector.org/ES. People can also apply over the phone, or you can apply with the help of a community organization, a partner community organization, or a health center. And there is one application to find out if you qualify for coverage through the Health Connector, including help paying for coverage, or if you qualify for Mass Health. So this is the point in time where I like to just simply acknowledge that, the Health Connector is a separate and distinct agency from the Mass Health program. However, we're very closely related in that we do share the same system. So you don't need to think to yourself, okay, should I be applying for Health Connector? What should I apply for? What do I qualify for? Don't worry about any of that. Simply come on in, whichever way is easiest for you, complete your information, complete your application, and the system will determine if you are eligible for a Health Connector plan or a Mass Health plan. And importantly, because we share a system, you're going to get letters from both of our organizations. You'll get a letter from us and you'll get a letter from Mass Health. Basically, one might tell you, if you're eligible for a Health Connector plan, you'll get a letter from Mass Health saying you don't qualify for Mass Health. So I just want to offset any confusion with that. Okay, so in terms of actually applying, here are the things we think you should need to gather before you start your process. So Social Security numbers for everyone who's applying, if they have one, immigration documents for any non-US citizen. And if you're not sure, if you're thinking about your immigration documents and you're like, I think it looks like this, or I know I've got this document, what is it? You can follow this link from our website, and you can, it's a very handy tool on our website where you can actually review the immigration documents and see samples of what they look like. Now, we're also going to ask you about income and recent pay information. So if you have it, we need copies of your last 2 pay stubs, your unemployment amount, also known as your monetary determination if you're collecting unemployment. We also know that people who are currently collecting unemployment, we know that you're able to log into, if you're doing that, you're using the online system, you can go into your online account and you can capture that information from your online account. We also need information about current income. And if you didn't file taxes last year, or your income has changed since last year, it's just good to gather as much of this information as you have. Now, just a note here, if you don't have all of this information, we don't want to hold you back from starting this process. What you should do is just either sit down or call or talk to someone. begin this process. If there is something, if there's information that we need that you didn't provide, we will reach out and ask you for more information. We don't want folks to unnecessarily wait and not enroll in coverage. Certainly just start the process, apply now, and we will certainly get back to you. Now, I mentioned our website, mahealthconnector.org. I've also shown here the link to get to the Spanish version of our website and application. I want to point out on this page, if you have ever come to the Health Connector's website and completed an application, you can simply go to sign in. But if you've never done that, you're going to need to create an account first. So that link is there. And then when you get the process started, you're going to be asked a series of questions. Now, I previously mentioned that we would be asking you questions about income. So some of you may be wondering, okay, I'm currently unemployed or I'm about to become unemployed. How do I answer these questions? Because you're going to be asked questions about your current income as well as what you think your income is going to be for this entire year. So when you're thinking about your current income, you want to include the unemployment income that you're getting. Then you want to enter your expected yearly income based on what you think you're going to make over the course of this year. So that, again, we don't have crystal balls, so we just recommend that you estimate this information as best as possible. So consider how much you've earned so far this year. You want to add any unemployment, include the extra $300 you may be receiving. So we know people were receiving some supplemental income each week. So include that money in there. And then if you think you're going to be returning to work later, include what you think might be earned. So I mentioned estimating this income. Know that if your income changes or when your income changes, you can update your information, and you really want it to be as accurate as possible. Basically, by keeping your income up to date, that is going to help you get the right amount of help paying for your health and dental insurance. It's also going to help you help lower your risk of owing money back to the IRS when you file your taxes next year. And you may be wondering, okay, how do these things relate? But one of the ways in which you get cost savings are through advanced premium tax credits. And those advanced premium tax credits are exactly how it's written here. You're getting when you come in and you apply for health insurance, if you're looking for help paying for that coverage, you may qualify for these advanced premium tax credits. And basically, you have the option of taking the full amount that you're found eligible for, or you can adjust that amount back, and I'll show you how you can do that. But know that those dollars that you qualify for, those dollars go directly to the carrier. So you don't have to worry about, money getting exchanged. Now, if you decide, okay, I am eligible for a certain amount, but I want to be safe and I want to reduce that amount a little bit, you can do that by using a tool on our website. So from the Find a Health Plan page, there's a link that says change your tax credit. When you click on that, you're brought to this change tax credit slider tool. And basically, in this example, you're seeing that the person has been determined eligible for $117 of advanced premium tax credits. So the person decided, you know what, I might not want to take the full amount. I just want to adjust it back a little bit. In this example, you're seeing that they've adjusted it back to $100. And basically, this is going to help them reduce their tax liability when they file their taxes. So let's talk about this a little bit more. So I mentioned, I've been talking about advanced premium tax credits. There are basically two kinds of help that you can get there are two kinds of help paying you can get through the Health Connector. So one is advanced premium tax credits, and these lower the premium amount you pay each month. And the IRS is going to send that tax credit directly to your insurance company, so you'll pay less. You'll see a lower premium. And then you find out how much you qualify for through our application, and you can apply some or all of that tax credit to your monthly payment. Now, the second way you can get savings is through our Connector Care program. Now, the Connector Care program uses federal advanced premium tax credits plus state dollars to help reduce the premium amount you pay each month. Now, the Connector Care program is comprehensive. It has low monthly premiums, low out-of-pocket costs, no deductibles. And then depending on the plan type you qualify for, you get to choose a plan for as low as $0 or up to $130 per month. And we can take a look at the slides at the end of the presentation to give you something that's a little bit more accurate. And actually, before I move on there, I think I just want to voice over here for a moment and at a minimum acknowledge that a new legislation was passed or signed last Thursday, which is really exciting for the Health Connector and Health Connector members. So the American Rescue Plan is actually one of the ways in which it's helping consumers is it's going to expand people's access to advanced premium tax credits. So people who get determined eligible for either the Connector Care program, or if someone is getting advanced premium tax credits that can help offset their Health Connector premiums, you're going to be able to see even more cost savings due to the American Rescue Plan. So I'm happy to take questions about that when we get to the Q&A. We're learning much more ourselves, but we're expecting that this help and new funding, new help is going to be available in the coming months. So all very, very happy to be able to pass those savings on to all of you. So you may be wondering, okay, who qualifies for help paying for health insurance? So this is similar to what you had seen before. Now, really important, in order to get this help paying for your coverage, you need to shop through the Massachusetts Health Connector. Your income has to be within 400% of the federal poverty level, and I'll show that to you. You need to live in Massachusetts. You need to be a U.S. citizen, U.S. national, or otherwise lawfully present in the U.S. And similar to before, in order to qualify for help paying, you should not already be getting coverage through Medicare, the Mass Health Program, other public health insurance programs, or be offered affordable coverage from an employer or be in jail at this time. So here you can see the income guidelines. So you might be wondering, okay, what does this practically mean for me? So I mentioned federal poverty guidelines, and basically those guidelines help decide what type of help is available for people. So we have income guidelines for the Connector Care program and income guidelines for advanced premium tax credits. So to the right, you could notice if you have, let's say, a household size of 3, if together combined, you're making less than $86,880, you could qualify for help through advanced premium tax credits. But if that same family of 3 was currently making less than $65,160, you could qualify for help and coverage through the Connector Care program. So I've covered quite a bit already, but I do want to spend a little bit of time talking about choosing a plan and enrolling. So once you know what type of coverage you qualify for, your next step is going to be to shop for a plan. So the Health Connector has tools on our website where you can enter your provider and medication preferences, and you can find plans and pricing. Now, before applying, you can do this by using our plan comparison tool. And if you were thinking to yourself, okay, this is interesting. I think that I'm interested in getting coverage. I don't think that I qualify for maybe the Connector Care program or for advanced premium tax credits. I just want to strictly see what plans are available and how much they might cost. You can also use the preview plans tool available from our application homepage, and that will let you see how much the plans cost. Now, really important here, I mentioned the Connector Care plan. So people who qualify for Connector Care are not going to see the cost savings displayed from either of these tools. So I can show you a chart, a resource at the end of this presentation where you can get a sense of how much those Connector Care plans will cost. So from within your application, you have the ability to check out your preferred providers, facilities, as well as prescription drugs. And this is essentially what you would do. You'd click on the button that says, yes, I want help finding a plan. And you could say, no, I just want to look for a particular doctor, a particular hospital. And you would check off my preferred providers and facilities. Now, if you do that, or once you do that and you're going through our online application, you'll notice here, I selected a couple of doctors in a particular health center. And then those options that are appearing, those health insurance plan options that are appearing on the right-hand side have already been filtered. So I know I can find those health insurance plans that, I can get my providers in, or I can go to my preferred, hospital, or in this case, a health center. So those are really helpful tools for people in case you or anyone in your family has any particular needs. Now, going on to this next slide, I want to just acknowledge that if somebody is required to make a payment for their health insurance premium, those payments must be received by the 23rd of each month before someone's enrollment is considered complete. So if you want to make a payment, you can do so online. Simply click make a payment on this page, and you can go down a process and make a payment. Also want to acknowledge, if you're making a payment, you cannot use a credit card to make that payment, but you can use a checking account or savings account to enroll in coverage and make your payment for coverage. All right, so moving on to this section on getting help. I have gone through quite a bit of information, so I wanted to share that there is lots of free help available for folks across Massachusetts. So you can get free enrollment assistance through Health Connector's customer service, as well as across our state through community partner organizations. So customer service, the number here is 877-623-6765. And we're open Monday through Friday, and I believe it's 8 through 6. Occasionally we have Saturday hours. For more detailed information about Health Connector customer service, you can click on the link here. You'll be brought to the contact center on our webpage, and you can see our information. And then I want to talk to you a little bit about our community partners. So we have folks who are trained and certified, known as navigators or certified application counselors. And these people are available. They speak many languages. They can help someone from application all the way through enrollment in health insurance plans. We know that many people, once they start working with a navigator, sometimes they develop long-term relationships with that navigator. So again, you can find somebody from, find somebody close to you. We have a link from our website, and you can simply plug in a zip code or zip code a particular city or town, and you can see who's available near you. Now, particularly right now with COVID-19, we recommend that you call ahead to schedule an appointment for help. We know that there are some sites that are doing in person, but many are doing over the phone, if not all, are doing over the phone or web-based webinars, just like this right now, Zoom appointments, so that you can get the help you need. So I want to go over some details and reminders. I hope you remember that you do not, you're going to get a copy of these slides. So you'll be able to click on all those links that I was mentioning. But basically, I wanted to remind all of you that losing your employer coverage is considered a qualifying event. So that in and of itself gives you a special enrollment period for enrolling in coverage through the Health Connector. We want you to be sure to apply and compare your options for the Health Connector within 60 days of losing your employer coverage. Again, you can apply for coverage in many ways. You can apply online, over the phone, or with the help of an assister. And know that some people will get an automatic special enrollment period to shop and enroll right away. Now, if you don't get that, or for some reason you get stopped, please contact customer service and they can help you get through this process. Now, I just mentioned that if you need to pay a monthly premium, those need to be paid by the 23rd of the month before your coverage can start. So for example, if you are applying now and you're looking for coverage to start on April 1st, you need to apply, pick your plan, pay your first premium, do all of that by March 23rd, and then your coverage can begin on April 1st. Now, technically speaking, you can also choose to have your coverage start on the second month after you enroll. So for example, if you did all this now, you could choose May 1 start date if you wanted that. And of course, you can get free help with this whole process, including choosing a plan through us, either through using our customer service or with help from partners known as assisters or navigators available throughout Massachusetts. So please call today, make an appointment for help. Don't delay. We are happy to help you through this process. And Erin, before I we open this up for questions, I think there's just a couple of small things I want to acknowledge here, and this might spark some additional questions for you as well. So in the resources section, I just want to acknowledge that we've included an expanded federal poverty level of FPL guidelines that the Health Connector uses for both advanced premium tax credits, as well as, figuring out who might be eligible for connector care. On this slide in particular, I wanted to acknowledge the lowest monthly premium for connector care. So for example, depending on someone's income and the plan type they qualify for, within their area, everyone has the ability to at least choose from the lowest cost connector care plan in that area. So for example, if somebody is eligible for a plan type 3B, and there are a couple of plans, different carriers available in your area, you can rest assured that there is at least one carrier that has a $133 premium in that area. So want to acknowledge that. Also acknowledge the connector care premiums and benefits. We have tons of links here for you. And sorry for the blank page. I will go back to the questions. So all yours, Erin.
Great, thank you so much, Nikki. And we do have a number of questions that have come in, so thank you. That was a lot of information, as you've noted, but very helpful. So I think I'll start off with some questions about income and how a person reports income when they're applying and different household compositions. So I don't know if you want to start with just generally how to calculate a person's income if somebody is applying or has a member of their household that may not be applying, and how you take that income into consideration. And then I'll have a few follow-up questions.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Yeah, the question about income, it's definitely bigger. So we'll try to unpack this a little bit. So the Health Connector is interested in your tax filing household. So for example, if you're married and there you have no dependents, we would be interested in the income that you and your partner have combined, or whatever that household's, however you're claiming all of that income between the two of you. Now, there are situations where you and your, let's say you're both looking for health insurance coverage. We would need to know, your information, your partner's information, whether or not you're applying for coverage. And we also need to know about income. So income from jobs, income from other sources that you're getting. Let's say you have rental income, anything that goes into your household income. We do not, for Health Connector purposes, we don't look at assets. We are primarily thinking about people who are under 65 years of age. That's, I think we've had that question before where people say, like, what else do you need to know about me? Now, I want to acknowledge you could have a household where, there are dependents, you have children in the household. So we would want to include any dependents on your application as well, and then indicate whether or not they need health insurance. So I want to throw a couple of scenarios out there for you. Let's just say it's you and your partner. Some situations, sometimes the partner is on Medicare, and you have to include their information in that person, but you would just say, nope, they're not looking for coverage, but I am. Now, let's just pretend you have a families, younger children, etc. Sometimes you and your partner may be determined, or just you may be determined eligible for a Health Connector plan. And children will be eligible and could receive coverage through Mass Health. So I just want to kind of explain all of that and say that for our purposes, we're interested in your tax filing household and any dependents that you have. Mass Health, Medicaid counts your household a little bit differently than we do, but you don't have to worry about that. You just need to complete the application and indicate anybody who is a dependent.
Great. So if I had in a scenario where maybe there was a dependent in 2020, but they will be filing independently for 2021, an adult child, should they consider their 2020 tax filing status or their 2021 and what they intend to do for this year?
Erin, that's a really great question, especially since so much is probably changing for people. We aren't looking back. So we're in 2020, right? Sorry, where are we? We're in 2021 right now. We're in 2021. We're just looking at our current situation and where we're going for this year. So if you're not intending to have that, claim that person as a dependent, you would just be, let's just say you're just completing the application for you. Do not include that dependent. And that's what you would do. We are just looking ahead.
And that dependent, if they also are in need of coverage, if they're going to be filing separately for the upcoming year, they should complete an application on their own.
You got it. You got it. If they need coverage, yes. If they need health insurance coverage, they can feel free to complete an application on their own.
Excellent. Thank you. And one more question while we're speaking about income. Does it matter if let's say you have an adult child, they are a tax filing dependent. If they are disabled, does that change how they should complete the application? Having a disabled adult dependent.
Yeah, so it doesn't change the way you complete the application, but it might change the outcome that you get. So as I mentioned, our application, although like we're not Mass Health, but we're so closely tied to Mass Health. So when we are going to be asked, if you decide to apply and go down the path of applying for help paying for coverage, you're going to be asked a lot of questions. And you will have the ability to indicate that you have a disabled child. So it just may turn out that that kind of opens another path. And when you get to the end, if you qualify for Health Connector, it's quite likely that your child could qualify for Mass Health, but you'll see it all on one application. So everybody will be together on that one, in that part of that one household. Does that help answer that?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for that clarification.
Okay.
And so in the same vein, as we talk about affordability,
Yes.
how does one determine if, say, an employer-sponsored health insurance plan is affordable? And, especially if they have a family and they're trying to, maybe the partner is covered, but, just kind of how do you tackle affordability from the outset and kind of more detailed as well?
Yeah. So I always try to think of like the most practical way to give somebody guidance on affordability. There is a percentage. There is a worksheet on our website that you can use to figure that out. I would say from a very, very practical perspective, you want to gather information from the HR department from the employer, so that you know exactly what the monthly premium is and what their contribution is. When you know that, you can go through our application and enter that information into our application. It will do the calculation for you to help you determine whether or not the coverage that is available to you is quote unquote considered affordable using the state's affordability standards. It may be worth noting here again that through the American Rescue Plan, we're learning a bit more about increases in or more generous affordability schedules for consumers. I don't want to really overstate anything here until we learn more, but I know that people who otherwise would not have been able to access subsidies before may actually see some changes in the coming months. So I would start by gathering, if you do have access to employer-sponsored insurance, but you think that offering isn't affordable to you, I would start by gathering the detailed information from the employer and have that at the ready when you apply for coverage.
And affordability, the calculation that you referenced, the percentage of your income, so it just takes into consideration the premium contribution for the individual. Is that correct? And not maybe what copays or deductibles?
Thank you for that clarification. I think that's something that's always worth noting, because we do hear that from consumers. Like, what are you looking? Are the details being looked more closely at? And unfortunately, we're only considering the premium contributions at this point.
Okay. Thank you. That's very helpful. For an individual who maybe isn't as concerned with, receiving subsidies, and I know you referenced that actually more individuals might be eligible for financial help than previously. So if you if you have the time to apply and interest, certainly kind of complete the application in that manner. But is the Health Connector the right place for somebody who isn't concerned about financial help? Are they able to compare plans? How many plans might be available? Are we the right place?
Yes. So thanks for acknowledging that. We are. So we are the state's marketplace, and you can certainly come through and shop for coverage without any financial assistance through our website. So I had mentioned that you could go to our landing page and you could click on preview plans, and you can see your options from, I would say 11, I believe 11 leading health insurance carriers across Massachusetts. So the plans that you're going to see available to you are going to be based on the region in which you live. But you'll be surprised at the number of options that are available to you. And they're organized by tier. So depending on the level of service, or like I don't want to say utilization, but like depending on what kind of coverage you need. So everybody's situation is different. Some people may be looking for more cost savings because they know that they don't use their health insurance much. And you could choose a plan that kind of works for you and your family. Or you may be thinking, no, I actually need, for someone's situation, they may say, I don't mind paying more each month because I do have a lot of doctor's visits. I do have a lot of medication prescriptions that I need to fill. So I want to keep my costs at point of service down. So there are different tools on our website that can help you kind of sort through that. And depending on your learning style, or your learning style, or what, how you want to take in all this information, because we know it's a lot of information. If you want to, we have a worksheet that you can download, you can complete by hand and kind of just sort out your own situation. Or if you know what your situation is, it's fairly simple. It's you and a partner, and you want to, you want to see a particular physician or particular specialist. You can use our online tools to help sort through and filter for the plans that have your needs, that will meet your needs best. So I hope that was helpful, Erin.
No, absolutely. Thank you. And I agree. It's a great tool.
Yeah. And if it's helpful, I can just go back. I just want to show people where this is. Maybe I won't right at this moment. I will find that page.
Okay, so quick question on dental coverage. Can a person who maybe is receiving health insurance elsewhere, or 65 or older, can they apply for dental coverage through the Health Connector?
Yep, that's a great question. And yes, absolutely. So for dental coverage, you don't need to buy a health plan to be able to enroll in dental. The only caveat there is, if you are only buying dental, you need to pick up the phone and call the Health Connector to buy your dental plan. At this point in time, you can't enroll in dental only on our website. So if you were getting health and dental, you could do all of that online. But again, if you just need dental coverage, you can call us up and we can help you shop and enroll in coverage.
Great, thank you. Also, if a person has applied to the Health Connector or was on Mass Health previously, knowing that we have a joint application, and then, maybe the last year they had coverage elsewhere and they want to come back and apply again, do they start fresh and apply with a new account, or do they revisit their existing account? And what happens if they forgot their login credentials?
Okay, now I want to bring you to this page, because I realize that both of those things, or a couple of things, are on this same page. So hopefully I didn't give anyone a headache with the flipping of the slides too quickly. On slide 14, a couple of things. Let me answer your first question first. So if you had previously applied for Mass Health, or you had Mass Health coverage before, you do not need to create a new account with us. You could go to the sign-in page, and let's pretend you forgot all that information, because it's been a while and we all forget lots of things and have lots of passwords. You could click on sign in, enter some information, and you could retrieve your login credentials. If at any point in time you get stuck at this process, you could call either the Health Connector customer service or Mass Health customer service, and you could get support to be able to get back into your application. So no need to start from scratch. Very simply, you could log back into an older application and update it. And truthfully, that is what we recommend people do so that you don't inadvertently create multiple accounts. I just remember within the last couple of weeks hearing about someone who said, yeah, I just can't, I keep trying to create an account. I keep trying to do this and it won't let me. And their information was already in our system. So you don't want to try to, create a second account. Definitely go back to an older application and make those updates. Which reminded me of one other thing, and then I'll go on to the preview plans button. The other thing I wanted to point out for folks, in case no one asked about this, is, regardless of how you start this process. So let's just say you're feeling really ambitious and you're like, I can do this on my own. But then you get partially through and you're like, okay, I'm getting stuck. I'm confused, whatever it is. This is not to worry. Wherever you stop, if you call Health Connector customer service or you make an appointment with an assister, let them know that you've already started this application. They can help pick up wherever you left off and bring you across the finish line. So even for that person who said, I think I had an account with Mass Health before, you can contact us and we can help pick up where you had previously left off. And then I'll move on to preview plans really, really quick. Can you see my mouse moving?
Yes.
Okay, so in the right-hand corner of this page, for that person who said, I just want to shop and see pricing, you would click on this preview plans button, enter some very, very, very basic information, including your zip code, and you could see plans that were available in that zip code and start filtering for things that you need.
Great, thank you. That's all very helpful. And as people, maybe log back into, is logging back into your account to update like income information, is that the best way to go about it? And then, or do they have to mail something in? What can somebody expect when they go to update their information?
Sure. So certainly let's say there are changes in your situation, you can go back into your account, you can make some updates. What you should expect is that if you, let's say you just started collecting unemployment and we needed some proof of that unemployment amount that you're getting, you would get a letter from the state asking for proof of income. And what you can expect, or like in that instance, I mentioned the Division of Unemployment Insurance has a website itself. You could get a screen capture of that information. You could send it to us. Now, when I say send, I'm using the word send very lightly. You could in fact mail it to us if you wanted to, but you could also take a picture of it and then you could upload that proof, that documentation through our application. So through your web application, you can upload proofs. So that is a much faster way of getting documents back to us, back to the application.
Great. And so we do have a few COBRA questions, but before we get to that, one last kind of income calculation question or comment. One of our attendees noted that some households may have maybe an older parent that may be living with them that they might also claim when filing their taxes. And so if you're claiming an older adult, a parent as a dependent, are they considered a dependent just as an adult child might be? Or is that something that should be taken into consideration differently?
We are, I want to say a dependent is a dependent because we're really interested in your tax household structure. So this might be a good opportunity for me to say, there are certain certain rules about gaining subsidy or using subsidies for the Health Connector. So because we're giving out or we're helping to facilitate the distribution of advanced premium tax credits, when you are applying for coverage, there's a checkbox that says, I'm applying for coverage. I am acknowledging that if I get any advanced premium tax credits, I will in fact file my taxes and reconcile those tax credits that I get. So I want to mention that, we're interested in your tax filing household. If you're married, you need to file your taxes jointly in order to be able to access those tax credits. And also back to your question, Erin, I know you're probably like, okay, is she going to get there?
I know you will.
If you have that, if you have those dependents, let's say you do have an older person who's a dependent, even if they don't need coverage, but they're part of your tax filing household, you can list them and just list them as not applying.
Great. And as you mentioned, APTCs, advanced premium tax credits, what exactly are they, and how does a person interact with them?
Okay, so you're gonna help make sure that I say this as simply as possible. Basically, these are dollars that you qualify for based on your household size, your income, etc. People within certain ranges. So I mentioned people with incomes up to 400% of the FPL actually, based on this new law, can expect to get access to even more subsidies. But these are tax credits. And those let's take the $110 example, I think that we looked at before, $117. Let's say you are eligible for $117 of advanced premium tax credits each month. The system will tell you that you qualify and you're eligible for that. When you are looking at the plans that are available to you, you will see your tax credit amount, and you will see the cost of those premiums reduced by your advanced premium tax credit amount. So you'll see a reduction. You'll be paying a little bit less because of those APTCs. You don't have to do anything. If you choose to take that entire amount, that's great. You pay your premium. The dollars, that amount is going to go directly to the health insurance carrier. And in terms of you interacting with them more, the next year at tax time, you're going to claim any advanced premium tax credits you received. So you're going to get some tax documents from the Health Connector. You're going to get tax documents from your health plan. You're going to use those forms to I was just about to, I want to go on the tax. I won't say anything more about the specific tax form, but you're going to use those forms to file when you file your taxes. And it just essentially helps tie out your income, what you thought your income was going to be, with that amount of advanced premium tax credit that you were eligible for. Sometimes we found that people overestimated their income, and at tax time they found that they're actually eligible for more premium tax credit. So that's worth noting. That does in fact happen sometimes. So that's why we're saying try to keep your income as up to date as possible, but no, it does all come out in the wash at tax time.
Great. So it's a tax credit. You receive it in advance of tax filing time based on your income, and they don't actually receive the funds. They go to reducing the premiums and are directly given to the carriers.
You got it.
All right. Okay, so we have about 2 minutes, and I do have a few COBRA questions. So just to squeeze those in. If somebody is being offered COBRA through their former employer, are they still eligible to apply for health insurance through the Health Connector?
Yes, they are. So especially right now, I would say that there are lots of different cost savings coming your way, to us. And I said, we're learning more and more every day. So we've learned that there are subsidies that are going to be available to people who take up COBRA. And those subsidies are going to be available to people, I believe 100% of the cost is going to be covered, but there is an end date. So we know that as what we know now, the end date is end of September. So for people who are thinking, okay, I've been offered COBRA, should I apply for Health Connector coverage? What should I do? I think I would recommend, talking it over, maybe talking to your employer, learning exactly about the COBRA subsidies that are available, what you would need to do in order to take advantage of them, when they would end. But for Health Connector coverage, you could certainly apply and see what it is you're eligible for, and then compare your options. Just by applying for Health Connector coverage, you can apply, you don't have to take up our coverage. You could apply, see the pricing, and then compare it, because we don't know what everybody's existing employer-sponsored insurance looks like. So you might want to really compare, okay, this is what I could get if I take up the COBRA, and this is what I could get if I enroll in Health Connector coverage. So we really just want you to compare your options before choosing one path or the other, because it can be these can be expensive paths.
And Nikki, I know we don't want to speak too much to COBRA because it is kind of outside of our realm, but
Yes.
For the COBRA assistance, the 100% subsidies you're referencing, is that something that's retroactive or only going forward?
My understanding is that it's going forward. My understanding is beginning April 1st.
Great.
And Erin, I want to actually throw something in there about the Health Connector. I keep mentioning that there are more savings available through the Health Connector, through this American Rescue Plan. We are going to be rolling that out as quickly as possible. So it's good to know that if you applied now, you don't actually need to do anything. There's no new action you need to take. If you applied now and you got coverage with us and you saw your savings, the Health Connector on the back end is going to kind of recalculate everybody's circumstance and provide updates out to people. So you don't, you're just going to see more savings down the road in the coming months. So
absolutely. And a few more COBRA questions coming through.
Yes,
I know we're at
sorry.
time, but we will go until until we have these questions answered. So kind of related to COBRA, but also just a timing question in general. Somebody's coverage, whether it be COBRA or employer-sponsored insurance, ending not neatly at the end of a month, maybe the 4th of the month.
Yeah.
Would their coverage start the 5th? Do they have to wait until the 1st of the next month? Can they have overlapping coverage? What are their options?
Okay. Keep me from talking too much about COBRA because I don't know how that works. I don't know when that starts. So let's just put that off the table because I don't know how that works. You would really want to talk to your former employer about that. On our side, Health Connector coverage always begins on the first day of each month. However, we keep mentioning Mass Health. Sometimes people come through our system, come through our application and find out that they do become eligible for Mass Health. So Mass Health plans do start on any day of the month. So I would recommend if somebody knows that they're losing coverage, that date is coming up, you can apply for health insurance either 60 days before the date you're losing coverage or 60 days after, and still, be able to, get into coverage. So I would simply recommend applying to see what you may qualify for.
Great, thank you. And lastly, can you drop COBRA when this subsidy ends to enroll in a Health Connector plan? When it kind of becomes less affordable?
More to come on that. More to come on that. But our understanding at this point is yes. Okay. But please, so maybe it's worth mentioning, literally this was enacted Thursday, was signed Thursday. So staff at our organization are working really hard to develop communications, update the Health Connector's website, and provide information. So certainly, you found us on Eventbrite for this session. Come back to mahealthconnector.org, poke around on our website, and you'll certainly be finding more updates available in the next couple of days and weeks. I would say definitely check.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Nikki. That actually rounds out our questions for now. So I'm not sure if you have any takeaways you want to leave our attendees with, but thank you so much. That was all so very helpful.
No, thank you, Erin, for your help, and thank you, everyone. I know we've still got a big crew with us, so a big thank you to all of you. We hope you found this information helpful. Remember our website listed here, mahealthconnector.org. Within the next 24 hours, you'll be receiving a copy of this presentation, so you'll have all the information, all the links. We also do have a survey. If you could complete the survey, it's very, very brief. Just let us know your thoughts about today's session so that we can help. It'll help us with programming for future webinars. But certainly if you need help with this process, call today for an appointment, and we hope that we can be of assistance to you at this time. So if nothing else, take care, everyone, and thank you.
Thank you.